What is Café Mocha? Experts, celebrities.
Hey, this is John Legend.
Yours truly, Idris Elba.
This is Fantasia.
I am Ian Levinson.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Tamar Braxton.
Music and features from a woman's perspective. Intriguing conversation. The Swag Award. Espresso. The MC Light Mix. Radio from a woman's perspective.
What flavor are you, baby?
This is Café Mocha.
It's Café Mocha. With all that's going on in the world right now, the timing of the movie Selma couldn't be better, and we've got the cast. Kicking things off, Oprah Winfrey is next. It's Café Mocha. I'm Angelique. This weekend, we've got the cast of Selma. We're starting things off with Oprah Winfrey. Now, how did you get involved with the movie Selma?
I came aboard to support David.
Okay.
David introduced me to Ava DuVernay. I said to Ava DuVernay, we are going to really be great friends. Even before I knew that we're doing this project, because I liked her work in Middle of Nowhere. So I was just kind of hanging out as a friend. I was just like, whatever I can do, whoever I can call, whatever I can do to help this project. And then they said, you know, you're really acting as a producer. Why don't you come on as a producer? I said, I don't know if I want to do that. I just really want to see if I can help you out. And so I got talked into it.
Okay.
That's why I'm here. I got talked into it.
So how'd you get talked into a role in the movie?
I was convinced to do Annie Lee Cooper because of the magnitude of not just the woman and the character, but the magnitude and the magnificence of what her courage meant to an entire movement. I mean, she represents in this film the essence of why they came to Selma.
Okay. So that sounds like a huge responsibility as an actor. You know, how did you feel about taking that on?
So I tried to do her justice, but I think that, you know, she is an iconic civil rights figure that a lot of people don't know her name, but she represents more than just herself. Her willingness to step up to that moment, and number one, to keep trying to vote, not once or twice or three times, multiple times.
Right.
And in the face of that denial, to become so frustrated, not for herself. When I asked the woman who's taken care of her for years, why do you think she ended up hitting the sheriff that day? Because she would have known that was a deadly move for her. She would have known that once she steps up and does that, she probably would not survive.
Right.
And she said, the woman who takes care of her said to me, she just got tired. She just got tired of it.
Wow. Now, I'm sure you get a lot of offers to do movies. Why did you say yes to Selma?
The reason I said yes to this movie is because I think you cannot know where you're going as a people unless you know where you've been. And so that adage that we stand on the shoulders of some mighty folk is something that I've lived my whole life. I've carried the voices, the spirit of Sojourner Truth and Fannie Lou Hamer and those whose names made the history books, and so many thousands and thousands who marched and prayed and believed and suffered, hoping that there would be a better day, not imagining that we could have the life that we now do have. Civil rights, human rights, the ability to rise to your greatest self.
Selma already showing in New York, LA, DC, and Atlanta. It opens nationwide on January 9th. More with Oprah Winfrey coming up on Café Mocha.
For those of you that think that gospel music has...
Selma opens nationwide on January 9th. Café Mocha's got the producer of the movie, Oprah Winfrey. Now, when we think of the civil rights movement, people mostly think of men. Talk about the importance of women in the movement.
The truth of the matter is, women were the backbone of the civil rights movement. Behind every one of those men who's out there, you know, the band of brothers, there was Juanita Abernathy was behind Ralph Abernathy. Coretta King was there behind Martin Luther King. All those other people, CTV, everybody had somebody, whether it was a mother or an aunt or a wife or a sister, who was there behind them as a force saying, you can do it, we're here, we're standing by it, we're standing for you, we're standing with you. And that's often not shown or seen.
Right.
But because we have the mighty Ava DuVernay, you're going to see it. You're going to see the presence of women.
Which I love. Let's talk about the woman directing this film, Ava DuVernay.
Can we talk about Ava DuVernay? I've been on lots of sets, but I've never seen anyone with the kind of intense, passionate, willful force and clear direction, and yet be such a calming force as well. I mean, just literally a calming force. That set is a calm space. And everybody is working at their, you can see everybody is working at their really highest level to create a sense of synergy and to create work that matters. And that's because of the director. It all starts with the director.
Selma opens nationwide on January 9th. You can catch it now if you're in New York, LA, DC, or Atlanta. Café Mocha's talking to Oprah. Now, what was it like for you being in Selma, shooting in the place with so much pain and so much history?
I was marching on the bridge yesterday, so happy that I had a chance to walk with all of the other cast members, those that we just hired and brought on here in Selma, as well as the principal cast members. And as I was walking yesterday, I was looking down at the bridge and I thought, wow, 50 years ago, their feet actually touched the same pavement that mine are touching right now. 50 years ago, they actually were on this bridge. 50 years ago, they were, attacked by the state troopers. Right here. That actually happened right here. And there's something spiritually powerful about that when you know that you're walking in the same, literally walking in the same footsteps of those people who paved the way for you.
Wow. We're talking about the movie Selma. It opens January 9th everywhere. On the way, he's got the big job of playing Martin Luther King Jr. in the movie. We're going to talk to him coming up on Café Mocha. This weekend, Café Mocha is talking to the cast of Selma. He plays the esteemed, the revered Dr. King. I'm talking to David Oyelowo. Now, David, while you were doing your research on Dr. King, what aspects of his life surprised you?
I spent quite a bit of time with Andrew Young, Ambassador Young, and who was very, very close with Dr. King. And, the thing that surprised me is how much Ambassador Young would talk about Dr. King's sense of humor.
Okay.
How much of a prankster he was, how much he loved to laugh, how much they did not feel like they were changing the world. There were these bunch of obstacles before them, these bunch of injustices, and history had just come to a point whereby it wasn't okay anymore.
Right.
And they found themselves as preachers at that time who were very much the leaders of their community, having to take the charge of, trying to debunk this injustice. So it wasn't they weren't sort of portentous, stoic young men who,
Okay.
They were sort of muddling through as young men do, but they did not shy away from the task at hand.
I got you. Now, why do you think this movie is important right now, today?
This film very much gives you the groundwork for the America we now live in.
Okay.
Without King, there would be no Obama. There just wouldn't.
Right.
Without King, what is going on with voting rights in this country now, that's now being eroded, it wouldn't be as egregious. Because if you didn't have Bloody Sunday, if you didn't have the Voting Rights Act coming so soon after the Civil Rights Act, if you didn't have JFK dying, Dr. King dying, Robert Kennedy dying, all within the 60s, all dying arguably I think almost certainly, for the freedoms we now enjoy.
Gotcha. Talking to David Oyelowo. On the way, we are hitting the red carpet with the cast of Selma. The movie opens on January 9th everywhere. Stick around. More of Café Mocha coming up.
You and me.
Café Mocha is all about the movie Selma this weekend, directed by Ava DuVernay. I'm shocked to hear that Selma is the first movie that stars MLK as a main character.
I do find it surprising and worthy of conversation that there hasn't been a film in the last 50 years since his death with Dr. King as a protagonist.
Right.
A feature film with Martin Luther King as the protagonist has never been released in theaters. Wow. That's a head scratcher. I mean, we've had a film on everyone else. The first guy to do this, the guy who invented this, and there's been no film with King as the center. So that's something that I can't quite figure out, but I'm glad we're here now.
I'm glad we are too. Now, most of us revere Dr. King. What made you portray him as he did?
I focused on a story about characters.
Okay.
Because really I see Dr. King as an ordinary man who did an extraordinary thing, right? And all of these people are ordinary people just like you and me who went beyond what anyone thought they could do. And so I think so often when we think of Dr. King, we think of him in stone as a statue, as a speech, you know, as a leader of marches. But he was a man. He was a man who died at the age of 39 fighting for freedoms we all enjoy. And so when you deconstruct the myth of him and you get to who the man was, you grow a little bit in yourself because you know that inner strength is really something that all of us have. Right. If you could just tap into it, you can do great things.
All right. Café Mocha, talking to the cast of Selma. I'm Angelique, sitting here with director Ava DuVernay. You know, our show is all about empowering women, but in the olden days with the civil rights movement, it seems like mostly it was about men. Why did you include women?
It was important to include women in the story because women were instrumental to the movement. Okay. So to imagine telling this story without women deeply incorporated is to not tell the story well.
Talking to Ava DuVernay, director of Selma. I got to tell you, Oprah said some pretty cool things about you. What was it like working with her?
The thing that I can say about working with Oprah Winfrey is that it is everything you would hope it would be and more. Okay. I think the main thing that I take away from her every time I'm around her is how consistent she is in who she is. Some people present themselves to be a certain way, and then you're around them for a good amount of time, and people change, and it's okay. Who they've presented is not who they really are. And it's not a bad thing, but they may be presenting something that they don't even really know who they really are. This woman is so consistently herself, and herself is so consistently fantastic that it's just a jaw dropper every time you're around her.
Wow. Selma opens nationwide on January 9th. It's already in theaters in New York, LA, DC, and Atlanta. Go to selmamovie.com for more details. This is Café Mocha.
What's being talked about on the street, online, and sister to sister? It's Did Y'all See? On Café Mocha.
So, did y'all see, in promotion for her new album, Anybody Wanna Buy a Heart, K. Michelle is spilling the tea, even more tea, about her relationship with Idris Elba. You know, I just think it's messy. I just think she's trying to have an Usher's Confessions moment, and I'm really not here for it. I don't believe it, honestly. I just think it's just too far-fetched. Not because of K. Michelle or who she is or whatever like that, but I just feel like we've seen every last one of your relationships, and we have not seen any pictures, no text messages, no. I'm gonna need some receipts at this point because she likes to lie.
Well, as I said before, I don't think she's completely lying about the situation, but I do think she's making it out to be more than what it was to promote this album, which I don't think is necessary. I think she could have just pushed this album without all the messiness, without the backstory, and it would have done fine.
She even said on the Russ Parr show that he has yet to contact her since she's been basically doing this breakup, tell all your business tour. So I personally think that she's just doing this to be emotionally manipulative. And I was thinking to myself the other day, how can you, because she's now being real messy, because she's now trying to infer to the other woman that Idris is with and the mother of his newborn baby son, that they're still in touch, you know? So I just think that we all know what happens with karma.
But that's our perspective. Let us know what you think by logging on to youtube.com/Madame Noir.
That was Did Y'all See with the ladies of Madame Noir on Café Mocha. For more, check out cafemocharadio.com.
Those that have gone before us say no more. We will not wait any longer.
Selma has been nominated for 4 Golden Globe Awards, including Best Picture.
What's Martin Luther King about to do next?
Rolling Stone raves it's a truly great American film.
This is the next great battle.
The New York Times calls Selma one of the best films of the year.
What happens when a man says enough is enough?
Selma, rated PG-13, may be inappropriate for children under 13. Now play in select cities everywhere January 9th.
It's Café Mocha on the red carpet for the premiere of Selma with Common. Now tell us, who do you play in Selma?
I'm playing a person named James Bevel, who actually was a musician, to be honest. So, that backstory is there. But James Bevel was really like a revolutionary amongst King's team. He and his wife, Diane Nash, were like the rebels in the team. He wore actually like this hat that looks like a kufi. So it was really, he stood out. He wore overalls. So the music was really more just in what we created. It was a symphony amongst us, you know?
Café Mocha on the red carpet of Selma with Common. What'd you love about making this movie?
I love that it's this specific story because you get to see that Martin Luther King was a part of a team. He was a representation of the people. So it's not just, okay, this one man did this by himself. This one man was chosen as the voice, as the face, and he had the heart and the spirit to do it. But there was so many people behind it, people that we don't even know some of their names, so many people that sacrificed. So Selma is the actual location and the chosen place that you get to see all the people that came from America and how this changed the world. Not just black people, white people came and supported, and was like everybody that was down for freedom. And I think that's why Selma, the story and that taking place is so significant.
Niecy Nash making her way down the carpet. Now, Niecy, we're used to seeing you as the funny lady, but you take on a serious role in Selma.
My character is very serious in this project.
Yes.
I play Richie Jean, and her home was open to all of the men. Martin, Ralph Abernathy, James Bevel, Orange. All the men would come there to eat, get a hot meal, have somewhere to sleep, and somewhere to plan and, galvanize for the movement. So it was very serious.
Café Mocha on the red carpet of Selma. Magic Johnson making his way down the carpet with his lovely wife, Cookie. What'd you think of the movie Selma? You saw it. What'd you think?
It was outstanding.
Okay.
Powerful message. It allowed us to understand Dr. King and how smart he was and how important he was and his legacy, but also he died for the right for us to vote, to be able to have equal rights, to be able to live where we want to live, eat where we want to eat, those type of things. And so I thought the acting was superb, the writing was excellent, and the message was strong.
Selma is in theaters right now in New York, D.C., L.A., and Atlanta. And of course, it opens nationwide on January 9th. More coming up on Café Mocha. It's your Café Mocha Espresso. I'm Angelique. This weekend is all about Selma. Activist Andrew Young was there in Selma and at the premiere.
Well, I thought it was wonderful. I thought they did a great job of condensing a story which is 50 years old today and still going on today.
John Lewis was also a big part of Selma. He talks about how the marches worked.
Before we went on any sit-in, before we participated in the Freedom Ride, before we marched from Selma to Montgomery, we went through nonviolent training. We studied the way of peace, the way of love, the way of nonviolence.
Switching gears, are you ready for Taraji P. Henson and Terrence Howard? Empire debuts Wednesday, 9 p.m. on Fox.
Cookie was the original gangster. Lucius was the artist. 18 years ago, Lucius and Cookie were hustling. A drug deal went bad, and Cookie has been away for 17 years.
She was abandoned. She risked her life for the family, not only her sons, for her husband, and they all turned their backs on her. It has made her bitter, but at the end of the day, she still loves her babies.
Let's make sure we support this one. 9 p.m. Wednesday on Fox. That's the Espresso. I'm Angelique.
This is Café Mocha. Café Mocha.
It's Café Mocha. One experience, your girl MC Light with the light mix. We taking you back 10 minutes of throwback joints. Got the ladies on standby, Angelique and Lonnie Love. I need y'all to sing along with me.
It's called The Light Mix featuring the legendary MC Light. Make sure you check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and the website at cafemocharadio.com.
Jet setter, one of a kind.
Café Mocha is a production of Miles Ahead Broadcasting in partnership with Westwood One. Executive producer Sheila Eldridge. Writer and producer Angelique Perrin. For comments, booking, and more information, visit cafemocharadio.com.